Welcome to this place called Earth and the project, Moral and Ethical Inversions. In this short, The Ethics of Absorption, why emotional absorption isn't compassionate, it's boundaryless self-erasure. Take a slow breath, not to calm yourself, but to locate yourself. That's the heart of this short. You cannot be compassionate if you cannot find where you end and someone else begins. And far too many people today confuse emotional absorption with empathy. They think taking on someone's feelings, pain, mood, or distress means they're being kind. But what we call being there for people often becomes a quiet pattern of self-abandonment, hidden beneath the language of support. Let's break the inversion down. Absorption looks like empathy, but feels like overwhelmed people who absorb emotions often believe, if they're hurting, I must hurt too. If they're anxious, I need to match their state. If they're angry, I need to absorb the shock. If they're struggling, I have to carry the weight. It feels like loyalty. It feels like compassion. It feels like the only way to show you care. But here's the inversion. Empathy is connection. Absorption is fusion. Empathy says, I'm here with you. Absorption says, I must become you. And the moment you merge, neither of you has access to emotional clarity anymore. Your body becomes the battleground for feelings that aren't yours. Absorption is a boundary issue, not a love issue. Many emotional individuals who grew up in environments where conflict was unpredictable, emotional volatility was normal. They had to sense others' moods to stay safe. They learned to anticipate danger through other people's feelings, and they survived by tuning outward instead of inward. Their nervous system was trained into vigilance. So now in adulthood, absorption feels natural. But it isn't compassion, it's conditioning. Your body learned, if I can read and carry their emotions, I can prevent danger. Which means you're not absorbing to help them, you're absorbing to protect yourself. And that pattern becomes morally complicated because it blurs responsibility on both sides. Absorption oversteps the other person's autonomy. When you absorb someone's emotional state, you unconsciously say, you can't handle your feelings, so I'll hold them for you. You're too fragile to process this on your own. Your emotions are dangerous, so I'll neutralize them inside my body. It feels loving, but it removes their agency. True compassion is witnessing, not absorbing. Holding space, not holding the weight. Support is relational. Absorption is parental, and when you take responsibility for someone's emotions, you steal the opportunity for them to develop their own emotional architecture. That's the ethical problem. Absorption destroys somatic integrity. A boundaryless nervous system can't regulate. When you constantly carry emotions that aren't yours, you become overwhelmed. You lose your sense of self. You confuse your feelings with theirs. You misinterpret your intuition. You collapse under invisible labor. You mistake exhaustion for compassion. Your nervous system was never built to run two people's emotional operating systems at once. Absorption isn't kindness. It's an overload, and it manifests somatically with sensations such as a tight chest emotional heaviness, foggy thinking irritability, compulsive caretaking resentment that you can't explain. Your body is begging you to hand back what isn't yours. Empathy without boundaries becomes emotional theft. Here's the uncomfortable inversion. When you absorb, you take something that doesn't belong to you. When you witness, you honor their humanity. Absorption feels and is invasive. It's enmeshing, over-identifying, subtly disrespectful. Witnessing feels and is grounded, respectful, regulated, stabilizing, and empowering. Compassion says, I'm here and you're safe to feel. Absorption says, I'll take your feelings so you don't have to. One supports growth. The other prevents it. True compassion requires differentiation. True emotional presence comes from knowing your own body, staying inside your own state, staying regulated while they're dysregulated, holding your internal architecture steady, and letting them have their own emotional experience. Without this differentiation, there is no authentic support. There is only fusion, and fusion always leads to collapse. When you absorb someone's emotional storm, you both drown. When you remain yourself, you become the shoreline. The somatic test. Whose emotion is this? Ask yourself, is this mine or theirs? Did I feel this before they spoke? Is my body responding to my life or their story? Am I helping them or rescuing them? Am I witnessing or fusing? Your body knows. You can feel the difference instantly. Absorption feels heavy, foggy, sticky. Empathy feels open, warm, and connected. Your body is always telling you the truth. So to close this short, emotional absorption isn't compassion. It's boundarylessness wrapped in good intentions. The nervous system attempts to manage danger by merging with others. But true compassion doesn't require sacrifice. It requires presence. It requires clarity, not fusion. Regulation, not rescue. Witnessing, not carrying. And the most ethical stance you can take is to let people feel their own feelings while you remain fully, unmistakably yourself. Support does not mean surrender. You can care deeply without disappearing.